Our live-action Snow White has entered her fairy tale, but it looks like it's already up in flames. Ever since the fresh-faced star of the new live-action Snow White, Rachel Zegler, has been involved with the movie, she has stirred up quite a storm. Now, fans of the original Snow White were already on edge about the remake, but just when everyone was trying to get on board with the new version, Rachel decided to turn up the heat in a recent interview. And you best believe it was a career-crashing spectacle you have to hear to believe.
You know, the original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Yeah.
Weird.
Even before she dropped those jaw-dropping interview bombs, our Latina starlet was already skating on thin ice. Why, you ask? Some critics thought she didn't quite fit the pale-as-snow bill for the iconic princess. Then, to make matters worse, Ben Shapiro entered, stirring the cauldron even more. Never one to shy away from a spicy take, Ben argued that the essence of Snow White hinges on, you guessed it, being literally white like snow.
Well, Snow White is like maybe the only racially specific white princess because it's in the name.
And it's not like anybody else wasn't seeing it either. Now, even though Rachel identifies as a white Latina, Ben and many others still think she's a peculiar pick for the role. And so for a really long time, the actress was drowning in the fairest controversy of them all. Then, as if things weren't sizzling enough, commentator Matt Walsh decided to stir the pot. And you would never imagine what he was thinking. Walsh called Rachel's casting appropriation, anti-white racism. Opinions and debates were flying just about everywhere after that. That is, until Rachel finally decided to speak her truth. And it was packed with a whole lot of poison. Being as sarcastic as ever, she said, "Thanks for having my back," and asked everyone to keep her name out of the meaningless gossip. But hey, it wasn't all shade and shadows. Rachel ended her post with a sweet reminder that every kid should know they can be a prince or princess. And to drive the point home, she shared some adorable throwback pics of herself decked out as a Disney princess. How cute is that? Now, you'd think all the drama must have ended after this, but it looks like a happily ever after just isn't written for this Snow White. To be fair, the actress has kinda got herself to blame. Because before anyone knew it, Zegler dropped a comment in an interview with Variety. In a chat about the upcoming live-action Snow White, Rachel and Gal Gadot, who plays the evil queen, were dishing out some serious tea. Rachel kicked things off by declaring it's no longer 1937.
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that is
not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
We all know some classic Snow White moments might not fly in today's world. Gal then added her 2 cents and suggested that the prince might not be riding in on his white horse for the rescue in the remake. Okay, hold up. No Prince Charming? That alone was enough to make everyone rage out of their houses with pitchforks, but Rachel didn't stop there. She became a full-on fairy godmother and granted Snow White a whole new destiny. Forget waiting around for true love's kiss. This Snow White's got her sights set on leadership. She's all about becoming the fearless, fair, brave, and true leader her late father always believed she could be. Sure, that story in itself was nice to hear, but everyone had only one thing on their mind: save it for another franchise. It's no wonder that the internet erupted like crazy. One TikTok video, racking up a whopping 12 million views, called out Rachel's point as nothing more than pseudo-feminism. The TikToker didn't hold back. She argued that not every woman is cut out to be a leader, and that's perfectly okay. Now, Rachel didn't respond to this because she was already being backed up against a wall, but when one door closed on her controversial chapter, another one opened. During a promo tour with Entertainment Weekly, she spilled the tea about her own rocky relationship with the original Snow White. Turns out our leading lady was actually scared of the original version.
I was scared of the original cartoon. I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
And that's not all. She even spilled the beans about a terrifying ride at Disney World called Snow White's Scary Adventures. From the name alone, it sounds like something straight out of a nightmare.
And then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like. Was terrified of it. Never revisited Snow White again.
Of course, that fear is understandable, but fans were still not having it. They fired back in no time and argued that Rachel should have turned down the role if she had so much beef with the original. But before you exile her for good, hear Rachel out. Turns out our leading lady stumbled into the role of Snow White by accident. She spilled the beans that she didn't even know what she was auditioning for at first. It wasn't until she was knee-deep in auditions that she realized she was gunning for the role of the fairest of them all. And guess what? Once she found out it was Snow White, she was over the moon. Looks like she's all about this modernized twist on the classic tale. This backstory definitely had us warming up to her a bit, but then, like always, Zegler served us another poisoned apple. Rachel straight up called out the prince from the original as a stalker. Can you imagine? She slammed the classic love story as a weird tale and teased that in the remake, Snow White won't be mooning over some guy who's been following her around like a lost puppy. Nope, not in Rachel's version. On top of that, the actress said that in Hollywood, anything goes, even kicking Prince Charming to the curb.
It's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut, who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Looks like this modern-day Snow White isn't waiting around for a knight in shining armor to save her. While some fans were already sharpening their pitchforks over Rachel's controversial comments, a new voice entered the fray, and it's got some serious pedigree. David Hand, son of the director of the original 1937 Snow White, ain't holding back. In an interview with The Telegraph, he straight up slammed the modernization of his dad's masterpiece. He's not mincing words either. The man is downright disgusted. According to David, his dad and even Walt Disney himself would be rolling in their graves over the woke changes being made to the iconic characters. Sadly, it isn't just the movie Snow White that is under attack by Rachel. But it seems whichever movie she's signed up for meets the same critical fate. You see, Rachel's not just the princess of Snow White, she's also the queen of the Hunger Games prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. But with fans already firing arrows at the actress, it looks like Rachel might have bitten off more than she can chew. Of course, now that Zegler has been offered the role, you'd think she'll take it with grace and concentrate on filming. Instead, she's already on the hunt to bring the movie down. Apparently, when Rachel was offered a role in the Hunger Games prequel, she initially turned down the role. Why, you ask? Well, it seems our heroine wasn't quite ready to leave her comfort zone. The thought of filming far away from her loved ones was just too much to bear. As luck would have it, fate wasn't done with Rachel yet. The project got rescheduled, and our leading lady had a change of heart. She hightailed it back to her agent because she was determined to reclaim the role she'd let slip through her fingers. And guess what? With a little magic and a lot of persistence, Rachel clawed her way back into the Capitol's good graces. It's clear that Rachel's journey through Hollywood is starting to feel like a roller coaster ride with no brakes. The latest twist was when she commented during the WGA and SAG-AFTRA strikes. Rachel certainly sparked outrage with her remarks about fair pay.
If I'm going to stand there 18 hours in a dress of an iconic Disney princess, I deserve to be paid for every hour that it is streamed online.
Fans wasted no time calling Rachel out and accused her of being rude and spoiled. And with rumors swirling about her hefty paycheck for Snow White, it's no wonder the fandom's feeling frosty towards our leading lady. It seems like Rachel's once promising career is hitting more bumps than ever. The question now is, will she bounce back from this latest stumble, or is her fairy tale ending starting to look more like a cautionary tale? Guess it all depends on her next movie. So what are your thoughts on Rachel Zegler potentially destroying her own career? Let us know in the comments below. And if you think this is where the drama ends, think again. Just wait and see what fellow Snow White, Brett Cooper, has to say about all this in this next video.